Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Hang. This week, we got my great friend, Rachel Worthington, actor and writer, who has now found her niche in New York City, writing whatever the F she wants. She has co-written her first comedy pilot, Between Us, which has been selected for the Vancouver International Women in Film Festival, taking place right now in March. Hope you enjoy. Rachel Worthington,
Yes.
my friend, welcome to the Hang.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for saying yes. Thanks for being here.
You really downplayed it. I had no idea.
What do you mean I downplay it?
I don't know, like I walked in, it's like a film studio.
Well, that's BPN. That's my fabulous producer, Alan's bringing all the gear. Otherwise, it'd be
I love it.
an iPhone and hopefully a mic.
Yeah, because I just remember when you interviewed Tim, that was on Zoom, because that was during pandemic.
Never again.
Never again.
Zoom? No, I'm not
Yeah.
doing that stuff again.
Yeah.
The whole point is to hang and have this connection
Yeah.
to kind of get that immediate, interaction, the energy, and
Yeah.
just that's the one thing that I never need to see again is my Zoom app. I deleted it off my phone as fast as I could.
Yeah. It makes me think I finished my MFA and then in 2019. So we had our showcase in person and everything. And then 2020 hit and the class behind us, theirs was all on Zoom. Theirs was all virtual.
How?
I have literally no idea. I don't know how that works. I don't know how, you know what I mean? It's just like,
I really felt for those students during that time because the reason we do this is community and interaction is that live, immediate feeling and energy.
Yeah,
But it is what it is, and hopefully now they're able to do what they set out to do.
yeah.
So you got your MFA. Let's
do.
let's get people to know you.
Yeah. Moved here for my master's degree. So, spent my whole life in North Carolina on the coast. And then for grad school, I knew I wanted to be here. I knew I wanted to move to New York and do everything up here. And so I auditioned only for schools up here. And then got into the new school and came, and Callback Weekend was a 24-hour play festival. It was Callback Weekend. So, because the program used to be, it was actors, writers, and directors in one cohort. So then all through your 3 years, you're acting in the plays that are being written by your classmates, being directed by your classmates. So it was really special, and we had a great class. But it was 3 years is a long time.
Which
also.
school was that?
The new school.
New School of Drama, is it called?
Yeah, New School of Drama. So the main campus is that like big like spaceship-looking campus kind of near Union Square.
Yeah, that's
And then-
Meisner technique, right?
We did some Meisner. Their whole new school thing was like, their thing is just giving you all kinds of tools and you pick
Right.
and choose what you want and what's going to serve you moving forward. So we did do a little bit of Meisner, but no, I think that experience for me was, we just had a great class.
Did you dive into the writing during that time as well?
No, that's a new thing for me within the past few years. I just like, so I graduated and I did an off-Broadway play. I did Rabbit Hole. Very sad, very happy play. And some woman was there and she saw me in it. And afterwards she was like, who are you? Let's work together. I'd love to know you. And so she and I just kind of started like, we're doing like mentoring sessions kind of, where she'd help me with my website because she was 25 years older than I am. And then it kind of we just became friends, she and I. And because it was funny, like we were both single at the time, but she's 25 years older than me. And so we were having these like parallel experiences of life, but also so different because of age.
Right.
And we, like at the time, my agent at the time, nothing was really happening and I was so frustrated. And Lana, she was like, you should just write your own character. Like you should just write it for yourself. And then she was like, you know what? I feel the same way. Like I want to do this kind of character. And so we just kind of started writing. And for me, I just fell in love with it. And now it almost brings me more joy than acting in a sense. It feels very, especially when I'm writing for myself, because it's like, that's your chance to be like, this is what I'm good at and this is what I like. And a lot of people hate writing and I love it. And so I'm just kind of right now in a position of like, when I get an idea, I just write it down and then I extrapolate on it or I don't. But it just brings me so much joy.
So how do you like? Okay, let's take Ruth, this short film
Yes.
that you wrote. I read, which is so descriptive, so scenic, and it's really beautiful.
Thank you.
Where did that come from? Where did you come up with that idea?
That I had an audition like 4 years ago. I had an audition for something to do with that time period, and the audition was for one of the women that was a pack horse librarian. And I was like, "What the fuck is this? Like, I've never heard of this." So I'm doing research, and I'm like, "This is so kick-ass," and I've never heard of it. I'm from the South. I've never heard of these Southern women that during the Great Depression and during that era would travel on horseback delivering mail and books and medicine to people in that region. I'd never heard of it. And
What
it's
were
the
they
most
called? Pack
fascinating
horse what?
pack horse librarians.
Pack horse librarians.
Yeah, and it was women. It had to be women that were educated, that could read. Had to be women that owned their own horse, which back then it was like nobody had anything. So if you had a horse, it was, I think there was like the president, I think it was Roosevelt, passed some kind of law giving them a little bit of money, but they didn't have a lot, and nobody was making money. So these women were they were like the only form of contact or human face that some of these people would see was when they would bring them these books. And it was just like the books would rotate through the region. They'd drop it off and you'd read it, and then they'd come back like a week later and they'd take it and they'd give it to the next person.
Yeah.
And it was just fascinating. And when I had that audition, the acting coach I was working with, she was like, this is really interesting. And I was like, I know, I've never heard of it. And she was like, do you write? Like, you should write about this. And I hadn't thought of it until a few months ago. I guess like 6 months ago, I was just out on a walk. And for whatever reason, I was like, oh yeah, that idea that I had that one time. And then I just made a voice memo of what I was thinking the story would be. And I got home and I wrote it in one day. I just sat down and wrote it.
Come on.
Yeah. And of course, there's been like, I've revised it and changed a lot, but I just sat down and wrote it.
But you were so descriptive. It's as if someone has lived in that area.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is being from, like, the part of North Carolina that I'm from is very weird. It's like you're driving through town and like part of it looks like the country. It looks like, like nobody lives there, or very rickety old houses and like horse. Like, I grew up riding horses because that's just
Right.
what you did. And then you like cross over and then you're like close to the water and there's like really nice beach houses and stuff. So it was a very weird area to grow up. But that more like farmland type part of where I was from always, I don't know, it's just a part of who I am. And so, like I have seen it. I have, my grandparents live on a farm. Like I rode a horse growing up. The horse in the script is the exact same, like the horse that I rode, what he looked like, and
Was
his
he called
name,
Finney?
and Finney. Yeah.
Your horse was called Finney?
Yeah, and I was so small. I've always been so short and so small, and that horse was huge that I rode, and it would just freak my parents out when I would ride him.
Now I'm trying to think, reading it, who did you see yourself as the main character, or are you picturing the little girl, Charlotte?
Yeah, no, I think obviously I would love to play her, but for me, honest to God, like
Oh, you definitely play her, but I mean,
Yeah.
who did you see when you're writing?
Ruth. Yeah, I think there's pieces. Well, honestly, it's not even me. It's more a love letter to my grandmother. I think my grandmother is actually the inspiration behind her tenacity and her grit. And so when I was writing it, I was more picturing her. But yeah, it's funny for me. It's honestly like if somebody were to be like, you can either be in this show or you could have something that you've written be made, but you can't be in it. I would pick to have them make it and me not be in it, which I think I never thought I would feel that way, But
No, I could understand that. I know shit about shit, so I can't write. So I'd love to. So what else have you written? How much have you written? Are you finding, so you're still auditioning for things. You're doing
yeah.
the whole actor thing.
yeah,
Yeah, Timmy said you had a
the whole actor thing.
casting for, is it a film that's coming up?
I had last night I had something for a what was it? It's like one of those like Oxygen. Is it Oxygen, the network, where it has like the crime shows, the like one-off crime shows or whatever?
I don't know anymore. There's so many networks.
Yeah, there's so many.
Well, it's to the point where I'm like, oh, all these platforms, all these shows, surely I'll get something. No.
Yeah.
At some point, I think, oh.
Oh my God. You're like, is it me? Yeah.
So just to bring anyone listening and watching up to speed, obviously Rachel and Tim are two of my close friends, actor friends. Tim was on, I think, season 1 or 2 of The Hang via Zoom, as we mentioned.
Via Zoom.
You guys are my acting comrades, teachers, self-tape coaches.
It's nice to have a little group of people that you trust to just kind of like call in the troops to help you get it done.
So every time we get to act in these scenes, you're a great actress. I hope we land something together.
I know. That's
it's
the
fun
dream.
working with you. Yeah, and probably something you wrote as well.
Yeah.
So you're doing the grind and whatnot. So is stage or musicals, is that ever?
You know, I started out doing musical theater. We've never talked about it, but I did play Christine once upon a time.
What?
In high school. Yeah.
Go on,
Just
let's hear
waiting for
about
the
it.
right moment to tell you that.
If there's any time to talk about Phantom, it's on The Hang. 'Cause I love talking about Phantom.
Yeah. No, I did it in high school. We were like one of the first high schools that had the rights to do it. It was like we were like the 3rd or 4th one to be able to do it. But yeah, back in the day.
What year was that?
I honestly don't know. What would that have been? 2010? 2009?
Oh, really?
I think so.
What school is it? Is this on YouTube? Are you on YouTube doing this?
God, I hope not. This was
If
high
I
school.
look it up right
This
now.
was high school. I hope not. No, there wouldn't be. I don't think. You could
get my
try.
phone.
Okay, you can. I mean, surely you could try. But
Hey, by the way, what do you think about this on my phone?
that's
This
very neat. Is that a lanyard? Is that?
a previous guest of mine, Andrew Kober, and today we had Will Swenson earlier. They made a lot of fun of me.
For your
They
lanyard?
made fun of. They poked a lot of fun. They call it a dongle. But don't you think this is practical? So I'm
Like a
out and about in the
purse.
city.
It's like a purse
Well,
strap.
it's not a purse.
Yeah.
It's not a purse because I can't
purse
actually carry
strap.
anything other than the phone. But now it's safe and it's always with me.
Instead
And-
of your pocket, because that would be.
Well, I don't like breaking the lining of my trousers. So you put a bulge in there like a wallet. Why would you do that? Or a phone?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to look up YouTube.
It's
You
fascinating.
singing,
I'd
just
be
in case.
yeah. No, I mean, live your life. You can look it up if you want. It was I thought we did a great job.
So do you get an abridged version of the show?
no, it was the full ass. It was the whole thing.
No.
Yeah, swear to God.
How'd you do the chandelier?
The props department was unreal at our high school for whatever reason. So we had one. We had a chandelier and it dropped and everything.
It did not.
Yeah, swear to God. Swear to God. I have my mom has like a
How big was the chandelier? I'll be
like a
talking like
photo
something.
book of it.
Oh, will you send it? We'll see if we can connect it to this podcast somehow.
Yeah, maybe I can get her
If
to
we
send me
get some
pictures of
photos,
it.
can it come up in the video format? All
Oh,
right.
perfect. Yeah, I'll have her
We'll
take
just-
pictures of it. It was really cool.
And at this point, here's a chandelier.
Yeah. No, it was
Here's the final layer.
It was sick. Yeah. We had a boat. We had the boat and everything that went through the river, and there was a little
Okay, listen.
kid in the boat that was like
No.
kicking her feet while me and Spencer were
Like
in
a little
the boat.
hamster.
Yeah, that's how the boat moved.
It was a canoe, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a canoe. Yeah.
The chandelier, how big was it? Come on, it was like from IKEA, like
I
a
don't
lamp.
remember. In my memory, it was epic, and
Of course it was.
No, but it wasn't small. I mean, it wasn't what you have going on
And
here.
it
but
swung
was-
down and landed on the stage.
It fell down. Yeah, I was underneath it for the final bit, and then I would look up, and then it would come down, and then it would cut to black, and it would stop like right over me.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it was pretty advanced for North Carolina high school.
Who was the Phantom?
His name was Spencer Anderson. He and I we were like the two all through my 4 years. He and I were always
It's got to
doing it.
be on YouTube.
We did my freshman year was Anything Goes, and then we did
What a great play.
I know, and then we did Sweeney Todd.
I'd love to do Sweeney Todd.
Who do you think that I played in Sweeney Todd?
What's
Just out of curiosity.
I'm thinking you would have played
Joanna?
no.
Miss Lovett?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
People are always shocked when I say
No,
that.
I think you need a strong actress and
Yeah.
someone with
Yeah.
with your sort of tenacity, like your
Just
grandma.
me at 15 or 16 playing a 40-year-old woman.
Well, this is a high school production.
Fascinating. Yeah.
I wouldn't think they'd cast you as that right now.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
In a
I've been
pro-
in
in a
that
pro
show
production.
like 5 times.
Okay, Spencer,
Spencer Anderson, there might be something on YouTube.
is he still singing?
No, he's not still singing, but he is the best. He was so obviously still
Well,
very talented.
I'm
He just
hoping
chose
you
to do
think
other
it's
things.
second best, but jeez, I can hear you.
I'm right here.
Spencer Anderson fan. What was the school production?
Jacksonville High School would be the can look it up. There probably isn't, because that feels like right on the cusp of cell phones.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Once
Yeah.
you said 2009, I'm like,
Yeah, I think I got my cell phone.
that would
in
require
high
someone
school.
like VHS and then
Yeah.
transferring it.
What's
No one's
that?
gonna do that.
Just kidding.
dare
But
you.
to answer, how dare you, with your lanyard phone. But to answer your question, I started doing musical theater. I was in love with it. That's all I wanted to do. And then I got to grad school, or actually my senior year of college, I was working with Playmakers Repertory Company, which in Chapel Hill, it's like the big rep company, the big pool to the theater there. And so I was very fortunate I got to work with them. And in my senior year, I was taking a class with the master's students that were there. And we were doing like Restoration era comedies and like Shakespeare. And I was the only undergrad in that class. And I just remember thinking, like, I want to do this. Like, I don't want to sing all the time. Like, I want to do this. And then the professor who taught that class was the one who got me, or suggested the new school, and he knew the head of the program, and that's how
Right.
I got here. And I have not done a musical. I mean, I did a musical, I guess, last year, but that was like one that I've done a reading of that Tim and I have done together, the
Right.
Clicquot. Yeah, so we did that last year, but I just don't. It's so fascinating because I was like, I mean, I still love it, but I right now have no desire to do musical theater.
Do you sing at all these days?
Not so much. I mean, I'll sing just like at home, or like I have a voice teacher that I love that every now and then I'll like see him and we'll sing through stuff. But I don't know. I think I've kind of come to this place where I'm like, it's always there. Like, it's not going anywhere. Like, if I want to sing right now or tomorrow, I could.
Go
But
on.
it's
Think of
almost
me.
just, I knew you were going to say that.
Think of me.
This
Go
is
for
why I
it.
didn't want to tell you that I was in fandom.
Come on.
Because you
Give
were
us the
going to be like,
cadenza.
sing
Come on.
it.
Last bit. I'll do the Raul bit
Hit
leading
the
in.
E. Yeah. But, no, I don't. I just don't. I don't feel in love with it right now like I used to be. But I also don't, a lot of the new stuff that's coming out, there's not like a big draw to it for me.
So in the meantime, while we audition for TV and film and put our tapes down, and it's no longer just acting required, it's becoming a lighting
It
technician,
is a full studio. Yeah.
a DOP, a sound technician.
Yeah, I know.
I love when sometimes you get notes back when you send in a tape. Well, the lighting's off. I'm like, I don't fucking care. I'm
Yeah,
not
are you
going for the lighting
kidding?
job.
Yeah.
You know, it's not my job. I know my lane. It's
No,
to
you're
act.
like, I'm
Do they
standing
like the
here,
acting or not?
I'm doing it. Yeah, no, it's when we upgraded our self-tape situation. I mean, you've seen it. We've got the two lights and the like freaking thing that goes up and down with the platform, and we've got the 6 different backgrounds you can choose from. Like,
But
it's
it bothers
crazy.
me that this becomes important because that's not our job.
I know, but isn't that
There's
fascinating?
amazing people who do that thing on set. That's
I
what
know,
they
and,
do.
and that's why I'd be so curious to know, like from a casting director's standpoint, it's like, because imagine you have 2 people and you're watching. One person's quality is top notch, everything is clear, they look great. The other person, like, there's shadows and you can't really, like whatever. Like, who are you gonna pick, or who are you gonna choose to send? Which I think is so interesting if that does come down to something like that.
Well, let's put this question out there because
Yeah.
wherever this video airs, in the comments, if a casting director happens to be listening to this and hasn't shut off by now, if it's down to 2 people and you have a great quality tape that's got all the gear, but the guy or girl or person is not that person.
Or it's almost like for me the question would be like, if you have 2 people that are like kind of, you don't know which one you would choose, or you don't know which one you would send, like, this guy could work or this guy could work, but you can only pick one. That's more where I'm like, I'd be fascinated to know.
You think the better quality might just
I have no
pop?
idea. No, I have no idea. All I know is that I feel like because the opportunities are so few and far between, right? I'm like, well, what can I control? The only thing I can control is how my self-tape looks.
Right.
That's it. That's it.
So while we're doing that, are you writing anything right now?
So that the pilot that I have written with Lana, that just got into the Vancouver Women in Film Festival, which is very cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But
So you've shot that.
So we shot the sizzle reel. So we didn't shoot the pilot. We shot. We had a donation, not enough to shoot the pilot, but enough to get like a handful of snippets to kind of like piece together a sizzle reel to use that like as part of our pitch deck, as part of our like shopping situation. So we have that we're editing, and
So this going to the Vancouver Film Festival, you said?
Yeah.
As a sizzle reel?
No, so just the script. So we just submitted the pilot, so it's a
right.
screenwriting competition. So
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So we submitted that, but she and I actually have 8 episodes written out. So that is like forever ongoing. That is in a good way, like we have what we need for next steps. And she just did the new Tyler Perry movie, A Jasmine's Blues. She was in that.
Wow.
So she's got, some buzz happening over there right now. So
Great.
we're trying to kind of use her momentum.
And what's this series called?
It's called Between Us.
And it's a TV series?
Yes, yeah, it's a comedy about. It was based off of her and I's relationship because when we first met, like I said, very parallel but very different.
It's a great title.
Lives, yeah. Well, it was kind of the idea was like the years between us, the like everything that happens between us,
Right.
and just kind of how, like, we're at very different stages, but somehow always learning something from the other one. But so it's very loosely based on that, but it is a comedy, and it's. I just love it, and I have so much fun writing it, and just kind of the shorthand that she and I have, and the collaboration and everything. But we have Tim Reed, who was the dad on Sister Sister, and he was on what was it, something Cincinnati? It's like WP something Cincinnati. I don't know. I should know that.
Back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day. So he's signed on to play her dad.
Amazing.
And then we have Michael Kilgore, who is a Grammy. He is unreal. Like so, he is signed on, and so we've kind of started building out this roster of really incredible people. So
it just needs the green light
it
and
just
some
needs
funding.
Yeah, it's honestly like what comes first. Like that's kind of where she and I are stuck at right now. Is like, do we just raise the money ourselves and shoot it, or do we wait because we have all of these pieces that could appeal to somebody? Do we wait and see if somebody wants to pick it up, and then they can pay, and then have a say in like while we shoot it?
When you say shoot it, like raise the money yourself to shoot it, you mean just the pilot?
Yeah, because just the pilot alone would cost like 50, 60 grand to shoot. Like if you're paying all the people and you're got the locations and so it's.
But is that hard to raise? Nowadays you see people doing these crowdfundings and it's just.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, honestly. I guess you never know till you try, but I do kind of feel like, she and I have had this talk where we're like, well, okay, say we shoot it, and then we take it to somewhere, whatever, say Netflix, and then Netflix is like, we like it, but we want to reshoot it, we want to change it. We like it, but we don't want this person in it, or we want, whatever. And then it's like, well, why did we shoot it, But,
perhaps, but then you wouldn't be with Netflix. Had you not
that's true. That's true. Yeah. So I don't know.
We need some kind patrons who are just like, for the love of the arts, here's 50 G's.
Here's 50 grand. Go ahead, make art. Yeah.
I want to be on set when you shoot, though.
Yeah, I know.
And a walk-on part.
You
Fine.
get a credit. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man, let's see. Who knows? We put it out there. Maybe that'll happen.
Yeah, who knows? But what was that thing with? I was listening to Smartless. We've talked about this.
A proper podcast.
A proper podcast. But who was it? Chris Pratt was saying that like he did some kind of like giveaway or something, and the winner just wanted to be in Jurassic Park. And so what was it, like during the pandemic? So they just like shot him on a green screen, and then he was the guy that got eaten by the first dinosaurs.
Well, we'll come up something great for between us.
Yeah. So it's cool. It's just floating along.
So are you finding yourself? Do you dedicate time in the week to write? Like, I'm writing it this time.
I kind of have found that doesn't work for me. Like right. I do it when I feel like I want to do it. Otherwise I'm not going to be motivated. If I sit down and I'm like, okay, I'm writing now, chances are, I don't know, something could probably happen, but because there are times that has had to happen between us, but I find more that I get better results when I'm just kind of feeling like, oh, I want to, oh, that's a good idea. Let me write that down and let me grow that a little bit. But that's kind of like everything for me.
And are you someone who can write anywhere, or do you like a certain space in your flat? Or you go somewhere?
No, I can write anywhere. I almost prefer writing. Oh, no, that's not true. It's pretty much anywhere. I do like being around other people. I like having people kind of
Right.
like in a coffee shop or like
Okay.
a co-working space or something.
And then what else are you doing in the meantime to keep yourself busy, keep yourself afloat?
I mean, I have that. I like to joke that I'm an actor who like moonlights as an executive assistant. So,
What's that like?
so I just started this new job like 2 months ago, working for this specialty high risk insurance company that I know nothing about, but it's
Let's
fascinating.
talk about high risk insurance. Let's
yeah,
go.
yeah.
That's what everyone's tuning in for.
Fascinating. It's just like, the office is so swanky. It's in Rockefeller Center, and it's just kind of like I just pop in and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here, And
That's a great place to be, though.
yeah, and it's nice because I can work from anywhere. So I pretty much work from home, and then I go in 1 or 2 days a week if I want. Sometimes I don't. But so that's kind of my like muggle job, I like to call it.
Are you a Potterhead?
Yeah, I am. What's your house?
What are the 4 again? Oh, I think I'm a Slytherin.
Me too. That makes sense for you.
I think I am. Does it?
Yeah, I think so. It's not a bad thing.
They're the naughty people, aren't they?
I think Slytherin gets a bad rep, honestly.
Then I'm definitely
It's just like
Slytherin.
ambition gets misconstrued as
Yeah,
mean.
it can be.
Yeah.
I want to know more about your grandma.
Oh, yeah.
How was she so inspiring for you?
She is, God, her life story is insane. She was like a nurse, and then like a nurse for the military, and then she met my grandfather, who is a retired sergeant major. So my entire family is military. So I grew up close to a military base, which is how we got to North Carolina. But so he was always deployed. I mean, he was in Beirut when it was bombed. He has like medals and stuff for being in Beirut and helping get people out. And he was in Vietnam, everything. And so, but my grandmother, they had 4 kids, and so she was always holding down the house. But she is just the toughest. She has survived like 4 kinds of cancers. She just keeps on, and she's never negative about it. Like, she's always just kind of like, yeah, well, it is what it is. I'm gonna get through it, and then this shit sucks.
Wow.
But so yeah, they lived on a farm, and she, like her mother, when she had her, kind of grew up in the same area, and had her at their house, and she always jokes that her dad ran out to get a doctor, and they came back, and her mother was standing there with the baby, being like, "It's over, we're cool." But so she's just kind of like that. And then when she met my grandfather, his dad was I think he was the state secretary of New Jersey or something. It's like a big political guy, and he didn't want my grandfather to marry her. She was like a poor country girl, and he was like, "You can't marry her." And my grandfather said, "Well, I'm going to." And he married her, and they was basically disowned for a while. But he chose her, they chose each other, and he joined the military, and they've just built this whole life for themselves. And they still have their house, and she's just like, and she kept, this is something that I want to write about too one day, is he would write her letters. Every week he would write her a letter, and she saved them all, and she has all of these letters, and they would just communicate via letters. And when Beirut got bombed, and she had no idea if something had happened to him or anything. My mom talks about that. And my mom said she was always just like, well, he's gonna come home if he's gonna come home. Just very much just can get through anything.
And these letters are preserved?
Yeah, she has them. So that's a plan of mine, to one day go through and read all of those.
100%.
Yeah. She always jokes. She's like, they're so boring. We would just talk about boring stuff, and I'm like, none of this is. This whole situation is the opposite of boring.
Absolutely.
But so yeah, they've been married forever.
So growing up, basically a farm girl.
Yeah.
How do you like living in the city?
I mean, it's funny. I always knew I would live here.
Really?
I always knew. Yeah, we came here on my 13th birthday, because I knew I did The Wizard of Oz in 8th grade, and I knew right then I'm gonna be an actor, and that has been my path and what I wanted to do since 8th grade. So we came here for my 13th birthday, and I was just like, I'm gonna live here. My mom was like, okay. I was like, no, I'm really gonna live here. And then, so every summer between then and honestly, until I moved here, I would come and try and do some kind of like summer program or something up here, and just be here. And then when I wanted to go to grad school, I knew I wanted it to be here, and so it all just happened. I just knew I wanted to be here. So when we moved here, nothing, like there was no really like culture shock, like, oh my God, the big city, oh no. I was like, yeah, hell yeah.
Really?
I want to be here, yeah.
You don't miss the farm, the slower pace?
No, I think
the space?
No, because during COVID, I moved back there. I was there for 4 months with my family, and I just, you just kind of build a separate life.
Yeah.
And so I think it's nice to visit. I like going home to visit. I like going in the summer, but I don't think I could ever live there again. I mean, those 4 months during COVID, I was like, I just don't feel like myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just feel like there was like a piece missing, and I was just kind of like being like, what am I doing? Like,
yeah, I guess it's just the stages of our lives. I'm old,
no.
so that's why I'm like, the city's not what it used to be for me anymore, and I don't want to be here anymore.
No, you're oldest. You could probably play what's 35 max. 35 max.
Thank you, darling. We'll leave it there. Yeah. So what would you like to happen in the foreseeable future? I guess it sounds like you're leaning more towards breaking in as a writer first. You'd like to see your creation happen.
I think my dream would be to have Between Us get picked up by somebody, and then get to be in something that I have written. And honestly, I feel like even like I always want to have a say in like something that I've conceptualized. But the idea of having like a writer's room of some sort that I can just kind of like pop in and pop out of, like that is the dream for me, is to like have something that's so clear, like the tone and the content, that somebody can be like, oh, I get this, and like help pick up so that I can also be in it, but it's still something that came from my brain.
And do you have like a literary agent who can push this for you?
No, so that's kind of where we're at right now, is trying to find a literary agent, trying to see if somebody would be interested. But we also have so many connections happening right now with Lana and Tim Reed, and we've got Michael Kilgore, that it's just kind of like, I mean, there are, I think we're trying to like send it out and see the responses we get back, and then just kind of move from there. But no, I think adding a literary agent would be a huge next step, for sure.
Yeah, I'd love to see that happen for you.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like you'd never anticipate that being what.
And in the meantime, how come you and Tim, or just yourself, you don't offer self-tape services to help people?
We've talked about that. Tim and I have talked about that, because like I've said, like there was one time we even came and helped you, and I left and I was like,
we should have charged him.
Should have charged him. Send him a Venmo request. No, but.
And I got that film that we filmed that for.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. You did. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I owe
See?
you.
Yeah.
I turned it down in the end, but I owe you.
Yeah. But I think Tim, for him, is like a separation of church and state kind of thing. Of like, this is what I do because I love it, and we help our friends because we love them. And, it's like for us, like we have the setup, and somebody could come, like we'd have to like have them come to our apartment to film it, right?
Right.
And then it's like, it's like people coming in the house, and like then this thing that we've kind of created and grown becomes like other people's, and it's like work. It's like work for others, not work for something that you love.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so, because that's why I don't do master classes, or like we talked about this off air. I'm like, I just don't know what I would say,
Yeah, which is funny because I feel like you have so much to say.
I got nothing to say.
I got nothing to say, but I run a podcast where I talk.
Well, you do the talking. It's easy. It's so easy to get other people to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. I originally, honestly, I did this because I don't speak well, and if you ever listen to the Will Swenson one I did, they made fun of my enunciation many times, but it's true. I have people like talk shit about me online about my enunciation.
No,
or if
really?
I've done interviews, and when I used to read comments, even like the negative stuff just makes me laugh. It doesn't.
Yeah.
But like they like, even now I'm tripping over my words. They would comment on that, and I'm like,
people are assholes.
People are assholes. That's something I have learned. But it doesn't bother me, because I'm like, well, fuck you. I'm still working. You know.
Yeah.
It's it's easier to say lines you're told that you memorized and whatnot.
Yeah, well, that's also something that Tim and I talk about is how good you are at memorizing lines. It's
Oh,
like
yeah?
insane. What do you mean? Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're like, I had this audition that I just got. We have to film it later. I'm like, okay, and you show up. It's like 4 pages of text, and you're like, word perfect. Like, while you're
But I
also
can't-
on Broadway.
But I can't remember what I did yesterday. So, you know.
That's okay. You're not getting paid to remember what you did yesterday.
See, I was just about to ask him, and I totally forgot now. See? It's gone now. Probably wouldn't have been able to enunciate anyways. Oh, I was going to ask you about social media and whatnot. Do you have a heavy presence on there? And I don't tend to follow friends because I see friends.
I know
and
I was
then,
going to say you don't follow me.
I know, and all my friends say that.
No big deal, but you don't follow me. Yeah.
Okay, I'll rectify that.
No, it's fine. I like hardly. I
It's
mainly.
weird though, and I don't mean to interrupt, but like I only started following friends again because then people now equate to your online presence to proper. Oh, then this relationship must be such and such if he hasn't
Yeah.
liked this post or commented.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
Which is crazy. I was
When
going
I
to
have-
ask you which I don't know if you probably turn your comments off, but if you
Yeah,
read
and-
that stuff, yeah.
and now I stop even having comments when I start posting things because I'm like, when I meet up with my close friends, I don't post about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would I do that?
Yeah.
Something I've learned, and then something we've decided with family too, is like no more personal posts.
Yeah.
Even if we thought it was funny, like we're like,
Yeah.
no, it's almost, and I'm working with my manager agent on it. I'm like, I'm only going to, from now on, it's like, she calls it pots. If it's in this pot, we got like 4 pots.
Yeah.
If it's not in those, you're not posting.
Yeah.
And it's easier that way too, because then it gives you a focus if I stay on social media. Otherwise, I said, I'm deleting it all.
Yeah.
I don't need to be on it.
Yeah. I pretty much only use it to send like 3 people like memes. And that's like it.
I will miss some of the memes, like me and Sergio, the stuff he sends me sometimes. Very funny.
yeah.
But I use social media to keep up with like sports I like, MMA fighting, and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's kind of fascinating, I feel like, with you because it's like you are very much in the public eye, like especially the like musical theater public eye and stuff. And I just feel like, and like you were saying, like you post something and everybody else thinks that it's like theirs. You know what I mean? Like thinks that like you are theirs because you exist for them as like whatever they've created, you know?
Yeah, and it's just people. A lot of this now is becoming about how many likes you have or engagement they call it.
Yeah.
And it's weird. You see accounts sometimes that are, as much as it's to support you, it's great, but then they're getting likes based on your photos. And
Yeah.
it just seems, I don't know, for me, and maybe it's an age thing, because now, like, the younger castmates who are very heavy into TikTok and make money from it, and there's a knack to it, and I think great.
Yeah, I don't have TikTok.
I just don't have the passion for that. I just want to, if I sing, I want to sing, and if we record it to share it, that's great, because I love sharing stuff like that, because
Yeah.
that's what I've built
Yeah.
my support on, is performing. So let's show, that's one of the pots.
Mm-hmm.
Let's focus more on that,
Yeah, I think the thing that kind of freaks me out is like a lot of casting too, like they look you up, right? Like they'll look you up and see. That's another great question that I would love to know is like if you look up 2 people and one person has like 100,000 Instagram followers and the other person has like 1,000, it's like probably maybe we'll cast the one with the big following so your show gets.
I hope
talked
that's not the
about.
case, because I don't think a high number of followers necessarily translate to ticket sales either.
Yeah,
And because it depends on your demographic. You could have 1 million followers. You could be young and popular for maybe stuff you do on TikTok and
Yeah.
whatnot. But are they necessarily buying tickets? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
I
have the
was
answer to that.
thinking-
But I don't necessarily see it. Like, the only example that comes to mind is got to do with fighting. But like when Jake Paul, who's doing a lot in the MMA world now, and boxing world, and trying to set up new things, when he does his pay-per-views, the amount of followers he has, I'm not sure it's translating to pay-per-view buys.
yeah.
None of this is interesting, but it's hopefully bringing the point of going, I'm not sure it necessarily
Yeah. It makes somebody a better
turns
pick.
into
Yeah.
ticket sales. But
Yeah.
online presence, massive, of course.
Yeah,
And
for
you
sure.
can make money doing that with sponsors and ads
The
or whatever.
influencer life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not for you.
I don't know anything about that. Yeah.
What do you
No.
use social media for?
Like,
Since I don't follow you,
yeah, that's you wouldn't know
because the things I want to know.
Yeah.
We talk
I tell
about
you.
face to face.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I mean, honestly, my Instagram is just and this is the thing about social media that I posted it on my story for the first time in a long time this past week when my pilot got into the film festival, and then the musical that I was a part of is having a cast album release that we recorded at the Power Station. I think we told you about that. And so both those things were announced this past week, and so it looked like I was posting like by social media standards, it looked like I'm working and I'm like thriving as an actor, you know. And it bothered me because I feel like I know that feeling of like going on Instagram and you can't help but compare yourself to somebody else who maybe looks like you or something, and you're like, oh God, well she's doing all these things, like she's really working, like why am I not working, you know? And it was like I just had this moment of being like, I just want people to know that this is just coincidence that these two things are being announced at the same time, and like social media is a highlight reel.
100%.
You know, so it's like I feel like my Instagram is just like, oh, like cool moments that I've had of like at a wedding with Tim, or like, you know, we went to Hawaii, or this cool headshot session that I had that I posted a picture of and it got a lot of likes or whatever. But it's like not my life.
Well, I love it. Like if I do a new shoot and you post something like, oh, does he ever take a bad photo? I'm like, fucking yeah.
Fucking yes,
There's
I do.
40 on the floor. That's never going to see the light of day. You know, I'm not going to post those. Some people do that stuff, and fair play to them. But I'm like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. So Tim, he has a pretty big, his Instagram he's got a couple thousand on there.
Boy.
But he only posts about work. Like that's a good example of like kind of like what you're kind of moving into, where he does not put personal
He hasn't posted
stuff.
much in a while.
No, because he'll only post like truly, like you will not see a single picture on his entire feed of his family or of me or of his friends. Like it's just work stuff.
Yeah. And
And
that's what
that's
we're clawing back towards again.
Yeah.
Just because just life is so busy and complicated anyways, you know?
Yeah.
Just simplify it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I, like, you know, like if I always think about, you see like these people who are in the public eye and they just get hate messages on Instagram and like in the comments, and it's like, I feel like, you know, maybe for you, like you read it and you're like, oh, whatever. But I'm like, if I were to read that, I'd be like, oh my God, like I would take it. You know?
No, you can't, because at the end of the day, what does it say about that person who takes time out of the day
Oh, for sure.
to talk shit
Yeah.
and type shit, so they're not
Yeah.
even having the minerals to come say it to your face?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like I would have much more respect and a lot more fun if someone had something to say. You know where I am 8 shows a week.
Yeah.
Come to stage door. I'll say hello.
Come to Funny Girl, we'll talk.
Let's see how much minerals you have then. But
Yeah.
you know, what does it say about their day? What does it say about?
I mean, it's
they're
for
definitely
sure,
not winning that day.
Yeah, for sure, more a reflection on them. But I just feel like, you know, I don't know. I just feel like at this point, I'd be like, how could you not take some of that stuff personally? You know, but you can't. But you know,
Yeah.
Inevitably, it will affect you at some point.
It's like people
I feel
talking shit about how I talk. I'm like, well, English is not my
Yeah.
first language. I wasn't born here.
Yeah.
And I trip over words. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
This thing, you know, and I hear it all the time, and I see it, you know, about Leah Michelle and reading, and I think, here's the thing.
That's insane to me.
What if it is true?
Yeah. Yeah.
People can't read in life. People might, I don't know, could be dyslexic. There
Circumstances.
could be a lot of issues or hurdles or whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
who then overcome that and make something of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
When is it okay to make fun of that?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. Plus, it's bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get over it.
She can read.
But
yes.
my point is like, well, if you can or can't,
Yeah.
what's the outcome? You want to make fun of it?
Well, that's the thing for me is it's like people that are famous. It's like the public feels like they can just say whatever they want.
That's
and it's
true.
like she is a person. Like she is a living, breathing person with a
Oh,
life.
social media has
Yeah.
taken etiquette, taken a lot of I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. It's not grace I'm thinking of, but just maybe
No, it
etiquette,
is
you know.
grace or respect. Yeah. It's just like that's a person. Like I feel like I see this with the like all these reality shows and stuff, like the Bachelor franchise or like whatever, and you go to any of their Instagram feeds and you click on it and they are just getting obliterated
No.
in the comments. Yeah, and it's actually, I think, so sad because I'm like, these are people who are, you know, first of all, it's an edit. Like, you know, like they are editing that. That's a reality TV show, but it is fully edited
Oh, there's nothing real about
to
it.
make somebody the villain or the good, you know,
Yeah.
or whatever. And then you see an episode and you go to their Instagram and you send them
Well, yeah, because
messages like
some of the looks that they might like pop in a look. I'm like, I bet they were thinking they're off camera and just waiting for
Well,
lunch.
that just
and they're like,
happened.
let's use that look.
Yeah, this
and
past
pop it in.
week, the recent season, I saw this thing online, and there was this woman who was on the show, and she got eliminated, and she posted something about like she was like, oh, how funny that my like the dress that I wore on night one somehow made a comeback in the middle of this other
see.
episode that I didn't wear this dress in. Like,
There's nothing real about it.
yeah, it's all fake, and then people comment and just tear people down. It's
But
just-
then that's the thing. Those people who actually you're going to get your phone to go talk shit.
yeah, you are actively choosing. There are so many like events that you are actively choosing to continue to be a dick.
And I would think almost 99.9% of these fuckers would not go up and just say it.
To your face.
No.
No, never.
Because most of them aren't bad people.
Yeah, but it's also
And they wouldn't do that.
But it's also like we were talking about earlier, where it's like they feel like they have like a piece of you. You know what I mean? Like you to somebody else are different from how you are to the next person, like what they perceive of you, right? So it's like that version of you is like if you were on The Bachelorette or whatever, it's like, well, she is a bitch, and it's like you don't know her.
So I'm gathering The Bachelor is your guilty pleasure here.
Oh, it fully is my guilty pleasure.
Yeah?
Fully. Yeah.
So this season,
I'm not.
are you caught up?
Yeah, I am, but I'm not like. I don't know. The Bachelor franchise has gone through a lot of tumultuous waters
Has it?
in the past few years, but for me, that is the show. It's like that in Love Island. Have you seen Love Island?
Guilty pleasure.
Do you watch it?
Guilty pleasure.
Oh my God.
I also, because
you
I do miss the British accent and just...
yeah, I have to put subtitles on because I'm like, what the
No.
fuck are they saying? Yes.
Oh, especially if you get like
Grafting?
Geordies and...
Yeah, like all these
grafting.
words.
Yeah, you put in
Oh,
graph.
just-
You put in the graph as a writer.
Yeah, oh my God. Like,
Here's the thing about The Bachelor I find weird.
they go, you all right? You okay? Like that's how you
you
say
all right,
like
mate?
hi, what's up? Yeah, you all right? It's like
What we
yeah,
saying?
I'm fine. What do you mean?
What
Yeah,
we saying? What we saying, huh?
yeah, fully subtitles.
What I
when
don't get
watch
with
it.
The Bachelor I find weird is like when you have, is it 30 women on this,
However
in this
many,
season?
I don't even know. Yeah.
They're all parading and he's just like, I'll choose you and
Oh,
you.
it's so
and you.
fucked.
And I'm like, this is gross.
It's so fun.
How is this okay?
Yeah.
How are we all
it's
right with this?
So, I think it was this idea that was born and conceived, and it like worked out for a couple seasons, where like people who were on the earlier seasons are still married to this day, like have kids, whatever.
Really?
Yeah, it's worked for some people, but the way I see
fair enough.
it is like, of course it's gonna work a couple times. You know what I mean? Like
Is
that's
it,
just
though?
odds. Like that's just the odds. Like you have like what 50 seasons? I don't know. Chances are 2 of those couples are gonna
they
actually
know-
work out.
I don't know. Is it sometimes a bunch of guys and one girl?
Yeah, they flip it.
Do they know what their potential... So, okay, this season, it's girls
Girls and
for
one guy, which
Do
is
the girls know what he
fascinating.
looks like before they get to the house?
They announce. Well, that's the part that I think is so weird. Is like you apply to be on it or whatever. I don't know how it works, and then but you don't know who it is when you're applying to be on it. They announce who it is like when you're already cast. Like you are fully cast, and then they announce who the Bachelor is, which I think is fascinating. But
And then you sit there and be paraded.
and then you're like, oh my God, like he's so perfect. He's everything I've been dreaming of. And I'm like, you didn't know who he was. What do you mean? What do you mean?
What do you think of this season's Bachelor?
I think he's not popular. People, they've like, their numbers, I think, have kind of tanked this season. Because he's
so
not.
bored.
He's
It's so dull.
But that's kind of what I like about this season is that he is very much just like a guy, just like a guy who like doesn't like drama, and he's like a good guy who's like, I just want to be married, and you're like, why? But okay.
I guess this is why I feel bad for saying it's dull, because what do I want? Fireworks and like arguments
Yeah,
and drama.
yeah.
But then I'm like,
Well,
that's
that's
human. These are humans at
That's
the
what
end
I'm
of the day.
saying. Like,
So I'm like,
that's what
I
I'm
don't-
saying. I'm like, oh, how kind of refreshing to like
Yeah, I
have
guess
there
so.
not have this guy be like, no, I like genuinely like want to get to know her,
Well, I didn't think we'd wrap up this podcast about your guilty pleasure and Bachelor, because
Well,
you're
I
far
think,
more.
I think finding out that you watch Love Island is the perfect.
Listen,
place
where I live in Essex, it's where they shoot Towie. Like the only way is Essex,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
some of those casts come from Essex.
Yeah,
So
I feel like I learned something new about you,
oddly,
a different
it
side.
makes me feel kind of at home. Although, for sophistication, I watch Slow Horses with Gary Oldman on
for
Apple.
sure. Yeah, just
And
to
every-
balance it out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We need the other end now. And then when they're shooting in London, I'm like, oh mate.
Yeah, yeah. It's fun.
I adore you. I'm hoping people follow you on Instagram, support you, look out for your
Yeah,
work, especially your writing,
Yeah.
and let us know on there how we can support that.
Yeah, absolutely.
If and when the time is right.
I'll write you into my show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll start following you. But we should wrap up because can you help me with the self-tape?
Yeah, sure.
Giddy up. Love you,
That was
darling.
the whole reason. Love you too. Thanks.